Hello, you're with me, Soraya Mia, on It's About Youth. Now, when trading card games, or TCGs, entered the market in 1990s, they were just cheap collectibles for kids and teenagers. But decades later, the demand for rare single cards has definitely make the value of these cards increase. So it can even be sold for 10 times the original price, making it an asset for not just fans and collectors, but also investors. So we're going to discuss and explore the trading card game industry in Malaysia with our guest today, Iman Humaira, who is the event director at TCGKL Main Convention 2024, as well as Shamsul Bahrain, Magic the Gathering Malaysia MTGMY community spokesperson.
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining me on It's About Youth today.
Yeah, glad to be here. It's such an honor.
So, of course, we have all heard of trading card games, but not everyone is very familiar with it. And as I mentioned earlier, the industry has grown decades since the 1990s. So maybe I'll start with Iman. What is the economic value of trading card games in Malaysia today?
Okay, I mean, like, definitely the economic value in TCG, trading card game, is actually growing really at a very good pace. Let's say how I know this is because last year, the Facebook group, we have a Facebook group in Pokemon Facebook group. So last year it was only 9,000 active members, and not even 1 year later, it's around 20,000 active members. So this is the numbers that we see online, and there will be more numbers offline. And how we know this? Because as an event organizer, we host a lot of small events, and every time our intention to do small events, always it's not enough for them, because people come in numbers, and numbers that we can't really handle. So they always ask for more, bigger space, more vendors, so, but definitely economic value, when there is numbers, there is value. Yeah, I mean.
yeah, I totally get it. And and you mentioned it grew from 9,000 to over 20,000 in just a year.
And
this is just on Facebook.
Yeah,
so
that's just on Facebook.
That's just on Facebook. Did you expect that trading card games would increase, the interest of trading card games collectors and investors would build throughout, the past years? Did you expect this?
Of course. It's going to grow tremendous, because we have a lot of multiple card games. I've started playing this a long time ago. Started like for 1-2 card games. Now it's like
a lot. I mean, everything. There's even Marvels. There's Star Wars. There's Assassin's Creed. There's a lot of things. Final Fantasy.
And growing and growing.
So it's not just Pokemon and Magic. There's a lot of things. Yeah.
But when you talk about a lot of cards, of course there will be newer ones that come up as compared to like Magic the Gathering, which was probably very, very, OG. And then there's also Pokemon. Who doesn't know Pokemon? Everyone from their childhood probably knows or had a deck of Pokemon cards. But then, of course, there is a problem with authenticity of cards. So how do we, address the challenges of detecting the authenticity of cards?
Definitely there is a lot of fake cards out there. So what you should do, number one pro tip, is never buy cards from candy shop.
I don't know if they still sell them.
They still do.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
And once you gain experience, you see a lot of real cards in life. So after a lot of thousands of card holding, you actually know just by the look of it that it's fake. So yeah, definitely always buy the authentic cards. Never buy fake cards. Because if you buy fake cards, then you will think the fake card is real. And
same as Magic. It's very hard to differentiate the counterfeits.
Oh, yeah.
So for my advice is, do your research or get an expert evaluation on the cards. Because it's not easy to detect the fakes.
So there's an expert evaluation. Would you consider yourselves an expert, since you said you're a collector yourself and you are a trader and a collector?
Trader, collector, and a player.
And a player.
Yeah.
A lot of hats.
So is this the expert that we can like get advice from, or is there more people who knows even more?
Like for card games collectible, there is what you call it, a company, is it?
Yeah.
Company that can provide you that services to detect is it fake or not.
Yeah.
So what got both of you into trading card games in the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it started with a video game. You know, Pokemon, I started playing since Pokemon Red, Game Boy Color, was it? Or maybe just Game Boy. So I started from there, and my first Pokemon during that game, you have to choose 3 Pokemons as your starter Pokemon to go through the journey. So mine has always been Charmander.
Okay, I think I remember.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Pokemon
The
so
fire
long.
one, definitely.
Is the orange one.
Yeah, the
got
orange
it.
one. So, I mean, like right now, I'm just collecting all the Charmanders ever put out in a pack. So, there's around 260 cards of that. So, I'm collecting all of it.
Ooh.
That's how, I mean, but it started with a video game. Yeah.
So your
Humble
love for
starts.
your favorite character grew.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's just the nostalgic sense of it when you're just a kid, you're bored, and you go through into, you know, you play a game at Game Boy and you just escape, and imagination grows when you're on the Switch. So it's just that feeling, actually.
Got it. What about you, Sham? So I believe you've been in the industry for 30 over years?
Yes, I've been playing Magic for 30 years. Okay, but as a kid, I started off collecting stuff. Like coins, old coins, stamps, comic books. So I'm a collector freak. So one day I was walking in the mall. There I see a Chinese uncle playing with cards. It looks like this. So cute. So I just asked them, is this for sale? Then started by that. Collecting, buy more packs. Then
Never
start
ends.
playing. Until today.
Until today, suddenly, 30
Suddenly
years
it's
later.
30 years.
Suddenly it's 30 years later.
Aside from the interest of collecting, as you mentioned, or also just like it's the passion and the nostalgic feeling, there's also like, the economic value or the people who invest in this, like they trade and they buy cards or even sell cards for a better price. So maybe talk a little bit more about this side of the industry.
I mean, of course, it started as collecting, but I mean, like, being people, we always tend to find a way to make money to do things that we love.
I agree.
Yeah, so when you collect Pokemon, you really love to collect Pokemon, like me collecting Charmander. So the way how I do it is, okay, let's just say I want to get this Charmander card, but I need funds to get that card. So I just get, like, let's say 10 hit modern cards and then sell that card with profit. And the profit, I can buy my Charmander card. Yeah, so it's just me trying to,
As in Magic, the value is more on the more you play, the more demand, the price will increase.
Okay, so how do you actually play the game? Like, just briefly, you don't have to go technical. Like, it's a game, right?
Yeah, it's a game, but it's quite complicated.
It's very complicated. I can never understand Magic.
But layman term is like, for Magic, is like 2 wizards battling out in a battlefield of creatures.
That's the best explanation I've heard.
Wow, okay, I mean, like, that helps, I guess, a little bit. But, aside from the fun part of all of this, there's also, a serious side as well. Not serious in a bad way, but so the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture is actually supporting the efforts of the growing industry in Malaysia. First of all, what do you think about the efforts currently? And then if there's anything that you would hope for more from the ministry, anyone want to take this?
Okay, as an event organizer, TCG KL has hosted a lot of trade shows, a lot of big convention, and during the convention we'll be doing tournaments, we're doing trading, we'll be doing a lot of learn to play. So the ministry support us doing this. So when we get to do this, definitely the community grows. So it's kind of, it's kind of something that we really are passionate about. It's just growing the community, and then the ministry also see the value in where the community is not just like a certain people that comes in. It's not like only students or only the mid 30s. It's everyone from all over. I mean, all sorts of walk of life. So you have like kids with their parents as a family collecting Pokemon. You have like someone that's almost 50 looking for cards and being a kid again. So, but definitely what we want more from the ministry is to actually achieve together to be at the same level as esports. Yeah, so we have tournaments, so we wanted to have like a lot of, to have big prizes, really.
Maybe more exposure,
Yeah, definitely.
more coverage for the games.
What other countries would we compare, like any thriving countries that are more popular in trading card games?
For Pokemon, we have, let's just say the closest to us. We have Singapore and Indonesia. Indonesia, the community is quite big, and they are very lucky because the company saw the community, so they invest. The Pokemon company invest in that community where they make cards in Indonesian language.
Oh.
So it's actually in Bahasa. If you buy the card, you actually understand it as Bahasa Malaysia, even though it's in Indonesian language. So I mean, this is what we are trying to do, where we are trying to make Pokemon see us as a community that is worth investing, so that we can be at that level where we have a lot of activities going on, a lot of Pokemon program coming in. And let's just say Singapore is way ahead of us in terms of trading. They have set the ground right. The market price is fair there, and the cards available in Singapore is much more variety, in the sense of like it's hard to get in Malaysia, but you can get it in Singapore.
Now back to the topic of, like trading and investing in cards like this. Do you think there is any sort of value to like the younger generation when it comes to, it's not just like games, but also to be a potential investor in the future? You want to take it?
Yeah.
For me, when I started as a kid, I cannot imagine a card that worth 50 ringgit will be a 5,000 ringgit card right now.
Yeah.
Is that actually 5,000?
This is just an example.
Yeah.
Okay, this is around 500 USD.
Wow.
It used to
That's
be
a lot.
That's
used
a
to
lot.
be a 5 ringgit card. Now it's 500 USD. So, for young generations, my advice is, you should try it. Do your research. Go for it. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like a 4-year-old won't know what investment is. So it's definitely on the parents' responsibility when you buy. Okay, let's say your kid like Pokemon, and you have to really do a research. Is Pokemon a good investment? Is Pokemon doing well? You have to have that in mind as a responsible parent. Yeah. So, like Mr. Shamsul mentioned, that card is used to be 5 ringgit, and now is $500. These cards here, if you total them up, it's more than 100k ringgit.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
100k. I mean, like it's released in 2016. Yeah, 2016 is actually the 20th anniversary for Pokemon. So they came out a lot of really great sets. So most of the set from that year is like really expensive. But during 2016, one card is only 300 to 400 ringgit. Now one card is 18,000 ringgit.
Would you ever sell them?
This one?
Yeah.
Never. Maybe when I'm old.
I mean, it's a great investment.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Maybe by then the value has definitely increased.
Yeah.
So yeah, if someone were to start trading now. You know, they're just very, very new, very, very fresh, and then probably the cards that they start off with will not be, you know, at this value. What are your advice to them? Anyone want to go first?
You can go online. You can go check prices online. You can see how the patterns go up and down. Maybe that do your research for the prices.
For me, please, I mean, when you want to get into the collecting and trading, always go with what you love. Let's just give myself as an example. I mean, I love Charmander, so I collect Charmander, and it grows from there. You know, you find ways to like how to to supply your hobby. So you find ways to get money for that, and sometimes you actually get profit from that. But for sure, to actually know the trend, the up and down trend, is everything's online.
Okay.
So, but to actually experience it, like I myself, when since Pokemon, they always release new sets. So me as a collector, we kind of have a hunch. Okay, this set is going to be, or this set is going to be, you know. So we also know when is the right time to buy, and when we should never buy or not be overpaying your cards. So you have to go through it. You have to experience that, getting new cards. Okay, and then a certain thing said by Pokemon, tiba-tiba it rises. So
maybe
yeah,
today is like 10 ringgit. Maybe the next day is 20 ringgit.
Yeah,
you never know.
It's a rush. I mean, like waking up one day, yesterday your card was 50 ringgit, and then the next day is like 1,000 ringgit. It's a rush.
Right. From what I understand, I feel like trading card games are very much like, you know, investing in other assets as well.
Yeah,
but it's the more what you call the more liquid form of investments, where it's more like it could go up and then it could go down.
Yes, definitely.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I also took from both of you that research and knowledge is very, very important.
True.
Same thing with any other investments as well. When it comes to trading card games, of course, when you know the sort of like the characters or all of that, it gives you more advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you're a parent or if you're a collector yourself, definitely research is really important. Now, off to my next question. I wanted to know, you know, how would you encourage people who, you know, sometimes they might look at trading card games as like, oh, it's just a hobby or it's just a nerdy thing. But how would you encourage people to appreciate trading card games in general? Shamsul, you want to go first?
That's quite a hard one. For me, if you want to appreciate the card game, you need to know the card game. You need to get involved with the game to appreciate it. So for me, yeah, I played it. I enjoy it. I become a pro player with it. So yeah, you need to play it to enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like for myself, I mean, I have not always been a collector. I have not always been in a TCG scene. Yes, I started with Pokemon games, but I just took up the hobby, I think not more than 1 year. Yeah, definitely just 1 year, just a year before. But what got me started is because me and my siblings, or my sister and her husband and my own husband, we all know what Pokemon is. We all have that memory of like when we were a kid, we play Pokemon, or we watch the cartoons, or we watch, we just buy the cards. But when we grow older, we get serious for a bit. Like we go to uni, we go to studies, and then we work, and then suddenly it just sparked. Like my sister started collecting, and I was like, "Why are you wasting money?" So I was that person
So you were
before,
that
yeah.
person.
I was that person. Like, why are you wasting money? It's so expensive. But after seeing my sister and then my brother-in-law started doing it, I'm like, okay, this seems fun. And then I started going to events overseas, TCG event, and whoa, this is actually really fun because a lot of people is having the same interests, and we talk like we are not strangers. Yeah, so the sense of community is there, and I don't know, that community bond is just, for me, is something really special, makes it extra special.
So,
Yeah.
for newcomers, join us, huh? Join us,
Yeah.
then get the feel
Yeah,
of it.
you join us. I mean, we're very friendly, we're very happy people, and we really passionate about Pokemon. So yeah, it's always a fun time with us.
So what if, like, you know, that person doesn't have much, you know, knowledge on it yet, but then just got interested because of maybe the sense of liking or wanting to try something new or wanting to collect? Would
Try
you-
something new. I mean, like it's the way I see it. I mean, observe it is that, let's just say a married couple. You have a husband that's into this, and then you have a wife that knows nothing about it, but always goes with the husband to get cards, to buy, to the card shop, to the events. So when she keep on going and going, I mean, the first time I saw her, she was not really interested in looking at cards. But after 5 times, after doing the event, and she came after non-stop 5 times, now she's the one that is like looking very, very excitedly looking for cards. And something happened. So I'm guessing it's just because of, you know, we hosted a lot of events and people gather and people get excited at the same time. So that's definitely a factor.
Yeah. Like for Magic, in KL, Selangor, there's a lot of local game shop
Yeah.
for new players to experience it. So yeah, come join the local game shop.
Local game shops, like I've never seen like or noticed any.
Yeah.
How are they? Like, are they like a cyber cafe sort of,
Oh no, they're actually,
like a?
it's actually really a card shop.
Oh,
They sell
so
cards.
people buy the cards and trade as well,
Buy, trade, play there.
play as well.
It's actually fun fact. During the pandemic in Penang, a lot of shops was shut down because of the pandemic, because PKP. The only shop that survived before pandemic, there's 9 card shops. After pandemic, there's 18.
Oh, so it actually grew.
Yeah, it did not close; it grew. So that's really, you know, something.
Wow.
Just to add on, I survived the PKP selling Magic cards.
Oh, so you actually okay? If you don't mind sharing, like, how much did you manage to make? Like, you know, if I mean, it depends on what cards you
Yeah,
have,
what
right?
cards, how many cards.
How much have you made, like, the most?
The most,
in
a
your
single card or in
experience?
total?
Up to you.
Okay, most in a single card, maybe 20K.
A single card can be up to 20K.
Yeah.
And there are people who would buy just that, like
Yes,
that.
You
there's
have no
collectors
idea.
that will buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's definitely there is definitely a large economic value in trading card games, and perhaps, you know, if anybody is interested,
Yeah.
I don't think it's too late to start. So what actually happens, you know, during the events that you mentioned? There are many events that, you know, TCG KL
Yeah.
has held, is going to hold. What happens at the event? What is
Okay,
there?
TCG KL, I mean, like, we are actually pioneers in hosting TCG as the main part of the event. Meaning there's no other event in Malaysia before us that did a big event at that scale, where every vendor is TCG related and the activities there are all TCG related. Like what we did previously, our first ever annual event was, we had a lot of vendors. We have Mr. Shamsul was there to teach how to play Magic. We had tournaments, and then we have international guest artists. The one that actually, the same guy that illustrate this Pokemon.
Oh,
card,
he was there.
He was there. So I mean, like, he's one of the best illustrator for Pokemon, because all of his cards is always expensive. So he was there, and there were signing session. The fans come and meet, and he would draw live in front of them. So it was a very special experience for the fans, and definitely we're way ahead in terms of organizing that sort of event. We're way ahead of Singapore. We're way ahead of Indonesia, because actually our guest illustrator, the one that we invite previously, is the first ever Pokemon illustrator to enter and visit the Southeast Asia region.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you think he actually decided on coming?
He, as I mean, as someone that has been so long with Pokemon, definitely because of the fans.
Ah.
Yeah.
So I think about time Pokemon would also realize the Malaysian
Yeah,
fans.
definitely. Yeah.
What about you? What is your best experience so far in like, attending events?
Recently, MTGMY, we had a MTG Family Day. I think that was like 2 weeks ago. It was around 100 plus players,
It's a lot.
and around 400 that came for the Family Day.
So like,
So we had booth, we have tournaments for new players, tournaments for old players, and even booth for learn how to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, like 100 players is actually a big number for tournaments.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can imagine.
100
And-
people sitting down at the same time, focusing and rubbing their head, you know. It's a lot of.
I would like to actually experience, you know, just to get the vibe and see how it really is in person. Probably one day, but that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
on
you.
It's
Thank
About
you for
Youth.
having us.
It's About Youth. That was Shamsul Bahrain as well as Iman Humaira. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us
Thank
once
you.
again, and we'll see you again.